when I think about YouTube University and the people, everybody that I've ever come across, or anybody who's I've come against or has come against me, I've learned that like when you claim to be somebody, usually you're not. And I remember when I first started catching on to the language, I'm like, wait a minute, that's so-and-so, and that's the other person, and because they're like pointing to themselves, but then I'll watch somebody else, and then they're pointing to themselves as well as the same person. Then it became confusing. Then I realized, well, is that because everybody is an antichrist? I think so. And then I get called an antichrist because the people that are claiming that they love Jesus, I mean, you sure don't act that way. And there's times in my life that I don't act that way either. But wow, what a wake-up call. The YouTube platform. So from the beginning, when you meet people and they're friendly with you, and then they turn against you, and then they blame you. You got door dashers dashing at doors. The whole thing. We will all face God. Trust, what did it say? Trust something. The only way anything can ever truly be forgiven and moved on from is when the Big Bang happens. Because other than that, nothing's going to actually change. The people that were hired to do that thing, you know, on the YouTube platform specifically, the people that were hired to come in my direction, it's like after all this time, all the people that I've found, it's like everybody knows the things that are going on. They all know. I didn't know. I was trying to learn, figure it out, because I'm disgusted with this world. It's sickening. I'm so tired of the fakery and the lies that you see on a TV screen, and the events that took place, and the acting, man. I sure did learn how to control my anger over all this time from the beginning, with the anger that I had going on to YouTube. Being addicted to Xanax and not really thinking it's a problem, but it did become an issue, because if you don't stop eating, and you know, you just stuff in your face, and food tastes so good on Xanax too. I don't claim that I stopped forever, but I did kick the habit of an everyday thing that it had on me. And it's no different than anything else that you do in excessive. It's not a sin, but when you excessively do it, it just becomes sinful. So the only way that my disgust and anger can truly go away, like all I can do is, as a human being, just work on it and be honest about it. I get irritated at people still, and because things are fake and everything is scripted, and nobody's really, it's not like what you're saying is actually true, because it's manufactured. Yeah, it's true what you're going through and doing, but it's a script that you are following. And then the people that read other people's scripts that they give to them, I understand when you yourself have to read a script because of the information that you're providing, and you're part of the equation that helps eliminate the sickness in this world eventually. And I have a problem with that, with people reading their own scripts. I did at first, but I don't anymore. But what I do still have a problem with are the people that are being fed the scripts and lying. I'll never, but who am I to even say anything anyway? These are just my opinions. Just because I don't read a script and I don't have a script, and it would slow me down if I had to write things, but that's probably because I don't have the technology where if I was able to just speak out loud and record the things that I want to say without pushing buttons, and just the convenience of being able to do that and say things and have it recorded, or have people do it, or robots or whatever, AI, to help me out with it and make it easier. But in the meantime, it's just whatever. I'll ramble on a lot about stuff. My thoughts are continuous, and I'm not the only person that thinks and talks. But on the YouTube platform, thinking and talking unscripted, yeah, there's people that do that too. But the problem I have with everybody is the ones that do lie. That's the problem I have. I have a problem with liars. And liars have a problem with me. People that hide things, keep secrets, can't stand me. Why am I minding your own business? Well, because you have some type of authority on this planet. You have some type of information that's secret that nobody's supposed to know. And then when I get on this platform and I start waking up as a toddler from my slumber, as I was left on a doorstep on April 2nd, 2017, I was left on the YouTube platform doorstep with a stalk. Oh wait, is that the things that fly and carry babies? A stalk? Or a stork? Or a dork? Either way, being stalked, being surveilled, being harassed on the internet, and then seeing the gang stalking in real life, and knowing that people that are on the YouTube platform are part of the commanders, or the ones that are actually doing it. I don't know when that ends. I don't know if it ever will. I mean, I guess it will when Scripture's fulfilled. But it's just such, the reason why it needs to end is because it's such a waste of your time. Everybody that has the app or in your ear, and you just do a certain thing because I either drive by or walk by or whatever, it's just Satan's wasting your life. You don't have anything else better to do? Yeah, this world could definitely be a hell of a lot better when people aren't wasting their time trying to harass people. I can only imagine. It's like the kid at work, that like 12, 13-year-old, 14, or however old he is, I don't know, the supervisor's son, he is embedded into just doing tactics. So does he do that like when he's at school too? And you have kids that they're just targets, and how do you know they're the targets? Who's telling you this? Well, the app has to tell you. So does this kid like go around just, and does he get paid for that? Like, what benefit do you get from doing tactics of it just interrupting people's lives? What do you get out of it? I'll never understand it. And how do they approach you also? Like, where do you even get approached, or are you just birthed into it and that's it? You're just birthed into it. And I'm on freaking planet Whack Job. I got stuck in planet Whack Job. 46 years of being in Wacko Land. And I just never imagined how all the people on the planet are basically, they're just your enemies. And they may smile to your face and be kind, but boy will they backstab you. Because I've learned that on YouTube. All of you that have come after me because you're deceived by the person that hired you and pays you. And then as the time goes by, your bosses, they have to tell you the truth. All nations are going to be deceived. Everybody's deceived. I've been deceived. I'm still deceived at certain things. I'm just trying to figure it out and not be deceived. I'd rather know the truth with everything. And I'd rather everybody know the truth too. Because once everybody knows the truth, and the truth is enforced, there's no more ignorance. Because how can you be ignorant towards the truth? Like, I know there are you Pharisees, Sadducees out there that you say you can see, but you can't. So therefore your sin still remains. And that reminds me of Stephen James and Sean, because he used to always say that. And then, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, when he was saying he's King David and Yeshua and Yahashua and Yamalak and Shamalak and all those names and everything, and Moses and Elijah, and if anybody's saying that they are somebody, isn't the rule of thumb that they're not? Like Jacob Israel. You're not really Jacob Israel, but you took on the stage name because the one who hired you gave you that stage name. And I can't help but to think that Derek Bros hired you because he has you on his channel, and he's a Hollywood producer and on record, and he just seems like he has that technological advanced ability to create apps and everything. And like anything that, it just seems like he has the ability to do that and hire people, because a lot of people have been on his channel, and I can sound like a hypocrite because I was on his channel too. And that was at the beginning when he first started to let people on the air. And so I went through it for those 3 weeks, and I felt like it was just necessary to do for that time period, just for that moment. But I feel like everybody else who's been on his channel reads scripts, and they're all hired by him. And I feel like Stephen James is not really King David, but it's more like the Jonathan Kleck is. And and Stephen James is in place of the vicar of Lucifer. So it's not like you're really Lucifer, but you're just in place of. Because, yeah, some people point to themselves as somebody, but that's just to... It's like the people that first came in my direction, claiming to be somebody or something, and then here comes Steve, and then he's like the one claiming to be what everybody else is claiming, and then there's got to be somebody else other than that that is who he claims to be. And I don't claim to be King David or anybody. I'm an observer from the outside, poking my nose into everybody's business. But that's what God, that's why he sent me into your platform, to do that. So that's the only thing I can say is I'm that guy. I'm that guy that came into this platform, which is a dimension. It's a whole different universe. Like without YouTube, because it's an app. I just feel like it's Derek Brose's app. I feel like he created it. It's the island of Patmos. Because Gematria ties it all together too. But not the way you would think. Not by typing in a name and with the way Stephen James deceives everybody, thinking that you're somebody because your name matches up with something. That's hocus pocus abracadabra, when those numbers line up together. It's more about decoding it with what's inside of it. It's not like when I punch in my name, I'm gonna find out what tribe I'm from or whatever. No, I'm gonna find out what people are trying to say when they throw out numbers, and I go look them up in the Bible. When Kleck says look it up in the Bible, to me it means gematria. You go look it up in gematria, and then multiple choice. You have multiple choices that lines up with what he's saying, and then you have the number one answer to line up with something. Like Mount Rushmore, for instance. The number one thing that I could say on that would be the event. What's the event? Well, you have to determine what the event is. The event to me is the event that's going to destroy people's faith, because their faith was in Satan. And he owned your ass and he left the building. The event, and then it has like the beaver moon and the beavers on the side of the face of George Washington. And I mean, it's just amazing the information that I've learned, and how willing the Jonathan Kleck channel was with and is with trying to show me stuff, and I didn't understand it in the beginning, but I know now 2020 was the beginning of it. That was the beginning. Jonathan Kleck needed to show me something, and he also needed to let me know that he knows he's watching my videos, dropping my name, acting like I'm a shill, and then saying that I'm a nerd and that kind of thing. And that, from that moment, I started to wake up to the reality. Like, all right, I knew what I was saying was true. I knew you guys are paying attention, but there's 23 million other channels out there. 23 million other channels, at least. Why would you guys be listening to me? And then a few years later, I realized Derek Brose commented on my channel when I said I had his back, and I didn't even really know who he was, but I just have everybody's back who when that Christ spirit is truly speaking through you. Now, and I understand that Satan's spirit can still speak through you as well. But the moments that the Christ spirit is behind you, I got your back. When I have irritation and anger or demonic thoughts. I don't have my own back. I don't like being that way. I'm not like that often, but I can imagine those of you that have been purely one way, and then now because you've struggled with that demon, that, you know, it's the pride of that demon that tells you that, you know, you can't listen to someone like myself and I make you sick and things like that. People are still dealing with those demons, and the event is going to wipe those demons clean out of your mind. Just swipe clean. And I've always thought, man, it's pretty amazing how, like, when Derek Broze talks about things in the future and how people are going to be, and it's like, how do you know this? It's like you did this before. But then I start realizing it's a way of that energy that when you create something, you know where it's going to go. When that event takes place, when anything happens that I predicted, remember this, when I'm predicting something that's going to happen, and then I'm telling you in that event nobody's actually dying, but when they say people are dying, they're lying, and I get in trouble and I get locked up for it, well, I mean, I'll take everything to trial because I'm innocent, and I'll prove it without a question. Whether I'm in jail or bailed out, going to court for, you know, predicting the second 9/11 Philadelphia. Remember this, I told you nobody's dying in the events. So if I can predict something that happens, and I get in trouble for it happening because people die, but I'm telling you nobody's dying in the event, the very event that I predicted would happen, that's how I'll get off from being charged. So you're telling me that you're trying, you know, the DA, so you're trying to have charges stick on me for conspiracy to murder and terrorist acts of whatever. But I told you that the event was going to take place. There's no proof of me being a terrorist besides terrorizing demons on YouTube. And I'm telling you that nobody died in the event and that they're lying. So I predicted the event. I told you nobody was dying when they're going to tell you that they're dying. And you're still going to try to charge me with murder and conspiracy to terrorist? Nope. But whatever. So be it. I'd rather go through that than to sit back and shut my face. Well, a prudent man will hold his tongue, like Stephen James says. Right. So, Christ was, what? Not a prudent man? Because I don't think he held his tongue, did he? I don't think he did. But wasn't he a prudent man? He was prudent when he needed to be prudent. And brutal when he needed to be brutal. I'm sure. I hope Jonathan Kleck is in charge. I hope he's the one getting ready to be released from the pit. I hope he's Satan in the flesh. I hope he's Lucifer. I hope he's the one that's getting all the power and the authority has been given to him. Because there's no other better person that I would want to have in charge of the planet. I mean, there's a few of yous, you know, there's, you know, the top four, in my opinion: Stephen James, Stephen Ben-Nun, Derek Broze, and Jonathan Kleck. So really, whoever is, it doesn't matter for real, because the head is wounded. But I have more of a connection with Jonathan Kleck because of the amount of information that I suppose if you were to try to contain all the books, that it would wrap around the world. But that's only between That's the thing. He knows it. The four I mentioned know it, and others as well. But the high, slightly trained reviewers, they don't know. They're hired. Your Jesus is, you already know who he is, because he's Jesus to you. That's how you found him, and he hired a bunch of you. So that's your God. Actually, it's your Jesus, but it's technically your God because it's your boss. And when I come along, your boss sent you guys in my direction, whoever your boss is, because there's a bunch of different commanders, and there's a higher up. Like the highest trained reviewers, I don't even think you know the truth, because you believe in your Jesus. And in the scriptures, he even said that ye are all gods. But then he also said, and you're all the children of the Most High. So, I don't know. To me, it just means ye are all God's, like, possession. Yeah, you're gods as creators of things. And hell, I don't even know. I don't even know if my father is actually my father. I mean, I don't really think I resemble anybody in my family. I don't really think I look like anybody. But who knows? I could just be I could have just been a seed planted on this earth. And that would be pretty amazing if that was true. And the one that planted me on this earth knew that I was going to do what I'm doing right now. That would blow my mind. So you knew that within 46-year period, I was going to hop onto the YouTube platform that you guys knew you were going to... You already had it created, you just didn't let us get it yet. And you knew that I was going to hop on here and destroy the demons, every demon that came my direction. And the way you destroy them is exposing them, proving they're true, proving that they are liars. They say they're Jews, but they're not. They're from the house of Satan, and that's who they're being ran by. And my dad knew that I was going to take them out and continue on and reveal the things that are hidden. Well, yeah, I mean, God knew I was going to do it. But what if God knew, and then the person that's in charge of the planet, like the Lord God, what if he knew too? What if? So the only way that truly the disgust in the world can leave is when the event takes place, and I predicted it, and it happens on that day, and that hour, in that city, on that mountain, then in that city. So it happens at Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah on the mountain, Mount Rushmore. And then it happens in Great Babylon, the mystery, that great city, mystery Israel, mystery Babylon, all in Philadelphia. And that was all planned. It's the first 9/11, the second 9/11. You fool me once, can't fool me again. Why do you think George Bush said that? Why do you think he said it in Petco too? Why do you think that it showed that little piece there? Because it's saying, I was fooled once for sure. I was gung-ho about the first 9/11. Like, yeah, shocking old George Bush. Get that terrorist. Definitely not fooled this time. Especially if I can predict it. Like, that's major. Like, I know that happens. I am in for it, but I'm all for it. I know I'm in for it, but I'm all for it, because the direction, the change on this entire planet, and the perception that everybody has, even my way of life, will change in a drastic second. Because the future will be so bright, I'll have to get a pair of flat eyewear from Jonathan Click. I have to get my shades. So Jesus, Lucifer, Satan, everybody has a role. There's a Satan in the flesh, there's Lucifer in the flesh, there's Jesus in the flesh. There's the Lord God in the flesh. There's like the 4 horsemen. There's 4 heads on Mount Rushmore. There's 4 headstones that were destroyed in Georgia. There's the Father, there's the Son, there's the Holy Spirit. There's Mother Earth. There's the Queen of Heaven. There's Lucifer. There's Paul. There's Abraham. There's... I mean, how many people are the same person? There's the one that, the disciple that Jesus loved. Now, that can't be Peter, because when Christ was talking to Peter, and then they're like, hey, Jesus, there's the disciple that you love, or something, when he's with Peter and the other guy. So it must be somebody else. It's probably Paul, because Paul is like the Antichrist. And he wasn't really heard of until after Christ's crucifixion. Supposedly when he was dead. But yet, talking to his people.